Today is a double feature film day. We got The Crow and we have Blink Twice. And let's start with Blink Twice.
We're going to my island for a few days.
Do you guys want to come?
This is crazy. Did we just jet off to a billionaire's island with a bunch of strangers?
Oh, he's not a stranger. He's Slater King.
Blink Twice is the directorial debut of Zoe Kravitz. It was actually called, you might have to blink me out on this, Devin, Pussy Island. Okay? But thank God they changed it because that would be a weird title for this film.
I actually think that's a much better title, actually. I don't know. I thought Blink Twice was kind of a funky title.
This movie revolves around a character by the name of Frida. And she is a woman that is down on her luck. She just wants to have like a better life. And she's working this regular 9 to 5 of serving people. And she's not just serving people, she's serving like rich, entitled billionaires. The biggest rich, entitled billionaire there is Channing Tatum's character.
Slater King. But the reason why she's so discouraged is because like the key part of her job is to be invisible. Everyone is telling her to shut up, just give her the drinks and leave, be invisible. And she's really tired of being small and being stepped on, and she just wants more for herself. So when she sees Slater King, she sees an opportunity.
She sees opportunity. She sees like, oh, he's so fine,
Right.
and I
rich.
just want to be next to him. And rich. She ends up having this plan of her and her friend dressing up like the elite and being able to get close to them. Somehow Slater King invites them to this island where they just get to be free and have fun and all stuff like that. And then of course things are not the way they seem. Let me tell you about this Channing Tatum character here. He plays a tech billionaire who, it begins in this film, he is apologizing for something that he has done.
If I remember correctly, they never tell you exactly what it is he's apologizing for. We just know he's got a checkered past. And our main character is more than willing to look past that checkered past in order to advance her life, in order to like not be an invisible small person anymore.
When they go to this island, everything's in order for what he wants it to be. And the girls wear the same things. The girls eat the same thing. The dudes that he has there actually are there wearing the same things and doing the same things and they have the same task and stuff. So everything is like a rinse and repeat. And they always say to each other, "Are you having a good time?"
Right. I also think it's really important to note that this was a last second thing. Like he was going to go to the island like tomorrow after this event that she was working on. And they were like, "You want to come to the island? Like now?" And they're like, "Oh yeah, sure." So they go with nothing. They don't have any clothes, nothing. They just take off. As a matter of fact, they abandon their job to go, which is why everyone ends up wearing the same thing because, well, Slater's people provides it, right? And like you said, people are treating Slater King like he is a freaking king, right? Like he gets deference for everything. Where should this chair be? It should be right there. No. A little to the left. Yes, there. You know, what should I wear? You should wear this. What should I eat? You should eat that. You know, like he is everyone is catering to him. He is the exact opposite of Frida. Like Frida's life couldn't be more different than Slater's life.
I like this film. I like this film because it's talking about something, and we always say on the channel, like we like movies that actually something to talk about. They have a theme behind the writing and everything. And I think Zoe Kravitz has crafted a good film here where it talks about the abusive power of men. And rich men, rich entitled men.
Just men. Right. There's another character who is not rich and entitled, but he is also carrying on with the madness. But we'll get to that. We'll get to that later because from now on we're gonna go spoilers. It's very hard to talk about this film without going to spoilers. I don't want anyone to accidentally say anything that someone hadn't heard. So spoiler warning right now. While I liked the movie, I thought the movie had one big flaw, and the flaw is the movie's so blunt. Like it is just so blunt. There's really no subtext to this film at all, and this becomes a problem because the first half, there is a mystery. What is going on this island? And things don't feel right. And the movie does not really tell you what's going on until about halfway through. But the movie also gives no hints. It gives no hints. It gives no red herrings, nothing. Like, for example, Midsummer, right? We didn't know what was going on in Sweden, but the movie gave you so many red herrings that you're just overflowing with them. This movie gives you no red herrings at all. You're just like, something's wrong. What is it? Until the movie starts to tip its hand at about the halfway point. And when it does, instead of like a little bit falling out, everything falls out. And it's like, okay, I'm cool with that. And I liked the way the movie presented it, but I wish it had some subtext. You know what I mean? I have a hard time not comparing this movie to other movies like Get Out. Get Out, you could watch that movie on multiple levels, right? Yes, these people were racist, and that's why everyone was nervous for our main character. But with the big reveal wasn't that they were racist, it's that they're freaking body snatchers. You know what I mean? Like, the movie works on so many levels, right? This movie has one level, and it's that the men want to use and abuse the women however they like. Once we learn that, it's like the movie doesn't operate on any other level. But the actual message that it does have and the way it presents its message is good, and it is harrowing. Okay. So the movie's not bad. It just it draws unfair comparisons to better films, and it misses, I think, what makes some of these better films more exciting.
I agree. I agree with the majority of that. The presentation of it, I do enjoy, because when you see them arrive at this island, they have everything provided there for them. They have like a perfume that's always there, that they always spray and everything, and they spray it on them. And my movie mind goes, why are you spraying on something that everybody sprays on, and the camera's focusing in on that? That's a clue. Also, the maid that comes out of nowhere that doesn't speak English is trying to tell them some type of clue. Right, right. I see all of this, and I say, okay, I feel it, and I like that. I like that presentation of it. With it being very overbearing during the climax of the film, or the second half of the film, I can understand how jolting that could be. Naomi Ackie, I thought that her acting was really good. She was believable in the terror that she was having.
I thought the main character, I thought she was great. I thought her best friend was really good until she just goes missing halfway through, and then she's replaced by another character. I was like, what? But then that actress actually killed it too. So in a way,
She killed it too. She did a great job.
I thought the performances were great. I thought Channing Tatum was kind of showy. I liked the message this movie had. This movie was a very smart movie, but I feel like I said, I didn't think all the messages went through perfectly, and I guess that's okay, because this was, as you said, Zoe Kravitz's directorial debut. So there's room to grow here. This is a good film, right? It's just it was almost a great film. The movie starts off with two main characters, and then one main character gets killed off screen. And she's replaced with a character who we initially think might be an antagonist for our main character, but she turns out to be,
It does seem like that, yeah.
Yeah, she turns out to be like best friends, like a helper type character.
I totally think that's intentional, because and I think it's intentional, the way that she was looking at her, the way all that, and then the speech or the dialogue that happened at the table for her to explain how women are to each other and how the world see women,
right?
And how they expect for them to be. And I'm like, the way she explained that is the way she was acting in the beginning to make me think that,
right?
Right. I thought that was genius.
That character gets up and gives a speech. She says, women should not always be in competition with other women. And I'm like, damn, I totally got that without her saying that. You know what I mean? So the movie is just like so blunt. It's like, this is what I'm saying. It's like so blunt, and it leaves really no room for interpretation, but also, to the movie's credit, gives no room for misinterpretation either. But one thing that I did like, and one thing that I really, really, really did relate to, was the rage in this film. This movie is made with pure rage, right? I think Zoe Kravitz wants to scream it, right? Which is why the movie ends up screaming towards the end, right? At the end of the film, this movie almost becomes a slasher, where our main character literally has a knife. So while I like this movie quite a bit, in my mind, I'm doing head editing to make it like a great movie, and I wish I didn't have to do that. Editing. Yeah, I wish I didn't have to do that.
Oh man, I look to this to be entertained. I look to this to see what Zoe Kravitz can bring to the table, her directorial style, and she has an eye for like long shots, and she has an eye for color, and she has an eye for how that all blends in with her story. And I said, that's really good.
Yeah.
And I felt like this movie completed that task for me.
It did. I agree with that too. It was a very entertaining movie. And like you said earlier, this movie with a lot on its mind. So I did like this movie quite a bit. And like you said, I think this movie is like photographed beautifully. I like how the movie draws these metaphors between the snakes and the men, right? So there's a character there who he's trying to lose weight. So he's doing nothing but eating eggs. Like a damn snake, right? He's just eating whole eggs. You know, I'm like, oh, that's really weird. And it is a very, very
Haley
reptilian.
Joel Osment.
Yeah, it's a very reptilian thing to do. The island is infested with these venomous snakes, and these snakes are yellow. And so every once in a while, someone will just have like a yellow thing around their neck, or someone will put something yellow on someone. So it's almost like you are in the snake's embrace and you don't know it. You know,
the snakes are also there for the remedy of how they to remember. So I was enthralled with a lot of that. Also,
I liked that the symbolism of a snake. It's kind of like, you know, obviously the Garden of Eden comes to mind when you think of women and snakes and, you know, in wildlife and stuff like that, where the snake representing the devil tempts Eve to eat from the apple. And in this metaphor, God would be Slater King, who says he's so great, but actually he's there to punish the women for not obeying him, you know. So I liked that. Like, this movie, you could tell Zoe Kravitz and her writing partner spent a lot of time crafting this film. And that is a stark contrast to The Crow.
Hey! Shelly! Shelly! Please don't do this!
We did do a review for the 1994 Crow starring Brandon Lee. I know there's a lot of other entries within The Crow in the graphic novel. This is not it. I don't know what the director, I think his name is Rupert.
Rupert Sanders.
I don't know what he was thinking when he wrote this and directed this, but it is weird. It is crazy paced, but it just wasn't fleshed out correctly.
Just like in the original Crow, this Crow is about a guy named Eric. I'm guessing his name is Eric Draven, but I don't think I remember hearing that last name. I only remember hearing Eric.
I don't remember hearing that either.
He and his girlfriend are murdered by some mobsters. Eric comes back to life to avenge his girlfriend's death. Just like in the comic book, just like in the original The Crow.
And I think the main problem with this film, to me, is the connection between Eric and Shelley and how they try to forcefully make us believe that this love, because it's all about love, you know,
right?
How this love was there for such a long time, when these two individuals in this film has met each other, to me, only like a week apart, and then horrific things happen to them, and you're supposed to believe that he has to avenge her. And I felt like the first one had us understand the love between Eric Draven and Shelley a lot better with a lot less.
Interesting.
You know,
you mentioned you liked the original Crow. I did not like the original Crow. I thought it was corny and dopey, and I didn't understand it at all. But it's a cult movie for a reason, right? I came to this movie with low expectations, and I don't know. I feel like this movie is bad too, right? But it's bad in the exact same way the original was bad. I think the issue is the source material. I think the idea of having your girlfriend or your wife get fridged is boring and sexist, and it's the exact opposite of Blink Twice. As a matter of fact, this movie is all about the male, all about the white guy. It's all about his revenge. Don't you dare touch my woman, god damn it, or I'll you up. You know, that's what this movie's about, right? And that is boring in films now. I've seen that 100 times. Yeah, I think it's just a boring idea. I feel like the movie tried its best to update the look of the Crow. Eric is a modern goth, right? He's not really like an 80s goth anymore. He's much more modern. He's got face tattoos and tattoos down his back.
He does hella drugs.
Yeah, he does drugs. And hey, so does Shelley. Shelley's right there with him. They're both kind of weird goth people. But the movie falls off the rails like immediately. Like, the movie has Shelley go to it looked like jail, only for the movie to tell me later it was rehab. So I was like, what?
It does look like jail. Everything inside there is getting participated like jail. The people that's in there is getting berated by the officials.
And they have to do these mandatory exercises and stuff. And there's a gated fence with barbed wire on the top. That is a prison. You know what I mean? But if I accept it, right? Shelley and Eric, they meet in rehab. And Shelley discovers Eric there because he is getting picked on. Why is he getting picked on? I don't know. I'm thinking, okay, they'll tell us why. He must be a real badass for some reason. And they're all picking on him. Nope, he just did. He's just getting picked on. But why? Is it his haircut? Is it the tattoos? Everyone's got the same haircut. Everyone's got the same tattoos. There's really nothing about him that stands out, but he's just getting picked on.
Okay, you guys can push me in the corner and do that if you want. Fine.
Shelley's like, oh, you poor innocent little bird. I have to help you. The movie is just so sappy and so corny. Any goodwill that the movie might have for its style, or even like the fight scene at the end, it just like throws all that shit in the garbage by being so corny. FKA Twigs, you are a really good artist. I think your music is fantastic.
Yeah.
I think you do. Yeah. I think you're a very brave musical artist too. But girl, you ain't an actress, or at least you got some work to do, because Shelley plays a much bigger role this time, and man, she drags this movie straight to hell.
It's some of the most horrible line delivery I've ever heard.
Yeah.
Bill Skarsgård is doing the best he can with what he has.
Yep.
I said Bill Skarsgård, I feel like he is a really good, capable actor. From the films that we even seen earlier this year with Boy Kills World, that was a really good film. And then later on this year, we should be seeing Nosferatu, and he has a lot to live up for that film. But for this,
he probably didn't know what to do with this script. He's like, what do I do with this? But even Bill Skarsgård looked like he was struggling in the film. I would put it all on Rupert Sanders' shoulder, the director. Yes. I don't know what
was he doing?
This is the third IP franchise that he's taken over, and it's his third miss. Okay,
he did Ghost in the Shell.
He started with Snow White and the Huntsman, and then he did Ghost in the Shell, and now he's doing The Crow. I'm like, yo, is this a 3 strikes you're out type thing? Because I didn't like any of those movies. Just to say nice things though, the art direction in this film, I think is cool. And the art direction is so like out of place that that's all I kept staring at was like everyone's clothes. I'm like, oh, okay, that's an interesting little jacket there. Oh, okay, cool shirt. Those are some nice shoes. And so, if I'm doing that in the movie, this movie ain't good.
Let's talk about how Shelley ended up in that rehabilitation prison in the first place. She is a victim of mind control from a person who could whisper the devil into someone's ear and make them do horrendous things, mainly kill another person. And that is caught on tape. This person that's doing this has a group of gang of people going out there hunting Shelley and anybody else that was involved with this tape that they recorded.
They want the recording. Yeah. They're like, oh, I gotta get that recording. And I'm like, man, that's a great plot for 1973. And today, right, it's shot on digital. Like,
it's in the cloud.
Yeah, there's 100 copies of it. Well, what is getting the phone going to do? It's not going to do a damn thing, dude, because their friend also had a copy of the same thing. So anyway, the whole thing is our characters are trying to get this phone. But even if you were to have the tape, right, what about it? What about the tape would condemn our villain? Like, nothing. Because just like you said, he makes other people do the bad thing. The movie just doesn't give you a reason to like be invested in the film. It just all felt silly, and it felt like an excuse to get to the next scene. You know what I mean?
That I was just about to say. It was just scene compiling to where it can get to this and get to that and get to this, and it seems silly. And then he goes back to this limbo world, where you have a character there that's the magical Negro that tells you everything that's going on. And
let's count the tropes. So we've got a dead girlfriend and a magical Negro and an angry white guy trying to get revenge. All right. I mean, like, this could describe damn near any movie. So, like, okay.
It's very, very, very bad.
Well, I will say, this is how a cult classic is born, right? Most people hate it, but a small group of people love it. So maybe this is going to go down that same route. I don't know.
10 years from now, people are going to be like, you know what?
Yeah.
That 2024
like,
remake on the Crow.
They were
awesome.
They might, who knows? Who knows? I did like the experience of watching Blink Twice and then watching The Crow. Because again, like I said earlier, they do feel like they're in conversation with one another, right? The Crow is essentially the movie that Slater King wants to watch, right? That's the movie. Slater King thinks he is Eric Draven, right?
I'm the hero, man.
Yeah, he's the hero. Yeah, he's doing bad things, but he's doing bad things for a good reason. You know what I mean? So I liked the conversation they were having, and I liked how tone deaf the Crow was. It didn't seem to be aware that a woman's torture, a woman's death, is just a character motivator for the guy. Where in Blink Twice, they're like, hell no, I'm not gonna be your character motivation. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be your little plaything. You know what I mean? F that. Get the gun. You know what I'm saying? So I liked how these movies were in conversation with one another. Even in the limbo area, it's a train station, dog. Like, is there another more boring thing to do with limbo? Like, hey, we get it.
I saw that in Harry Potter. It's extremely graphic with no meaning behind it.
I agree.
The
Gore
things,
porn.
cutting off heads, freaking sword through the skull and sword through the mouth and stuff. And I'm like, that's very graphic.
He like cuts off two people's heads and then throws the heads into the audience.
Throws them in the crowd.
This is our hero? He's throwing heads into the audience? Like, what the?
I look at all the stuff that's done in this film and I look at the original Crow when it comes to the violence, and I'm like, the main horrible violent thing that you see that's horrible and grotesque in that film is the actual killing of Shelley and Eric. That was very grotesque what happened to them in that film, and everything else that Eric was doing to the people to get them back. It was like, it wasn't as grotesque as this, but
I think you nailed it. I think you're right. I think in The Crow, they make Shelley and Eric's death grotesque so that you understand Eric's anger, right? You understand why the Crow is doing this, But you're right. When everything is gory and everything is awful, it just kind of turns into a gross mess, and it doesn't feel like any kind of motivation for anything, right? You just have to understand that this is his girlfriend that he wanted to have sex with, and now they can't have sex anymore because she's dead. So God damn it, he's got to kill everybody. You know what I mean? Like, all right.
Yo, yeah, and then they had the booty butt cheeks when they were doing it in this one too, and I'm like, why the booty butt cheeks out?
Like I said, you could feel that rage behind the camera in Blink Twice. There's no rage in The Crow, which is the film I thought would be full of rage.
It's supposed to be.
Right, it's not. Everyone's just kind of like, here it is,
That is how we feel about these films. What do you feel about these films? Get in the comments below and let us know what you thought of Blink Twice and the remake of The Crow.
I'll never be alone.
Thank you so much for clicking on this video. We really do appreciate you. Let us know if you want even more double features that we do here. We've done this before in the past, talk about 2 films. Let us know if you want more of it. We will do it for you, okay? And more importantly, please get it down there and hit that subscribe button because we're almost to 1,000 subscribers. Get us there, please. And if you did like our reviews on both of these films, please hit the thumbs up. It really does help out the channel. Or you can hit the thumbs down. Whichever you choose, it is your opinion. But just remember one thing, it is mostly wrong. Just like Rupert, you're wrong. Don't make this movie. Don't make another movie anymore, bro. Don't you do it.
Nothing.